Walk into any Ollie's in America, and you're greeted by the quiet plastic whisper of Hollywood's failures. Rivas piled so high you could build a fort. America Chavez figures as far as the eye can see. Ironheart dolls slumped over like they lost the will to stand sometime around Phase 4. And those endlessly awkward Disney Star Wars female leads. Character studios told us we're going to redefine the franchise, now hanging lifelessly from the pegs like props left behind at a yard sale. These toys are not simply discounted merchandise. They're the tombstone of Hollywood's diversity agenda. Each one is a physical receipt that the audience never connected with these characters, no matter how loudly the studio or social media insisted they should. Hollywood loves to pretend that discourse, hashtags, or headlines define success. They don't. A toy aisle is the ultimate truth teller. If kids won't pick up your characters for $3 after months of advertising, after saturation marketing campaigns, after you blasted their face across every poster, trailer, panel, and magazine cover, then that character didn't just fail, they never lived. Ollie's isn't a discount store anymore, it's the museum of forced diversity exhibits nobody asked for, where the admission price is simply having eyes. And studio executives will do anything to avoid admitting this. They'll blame toxic fandom, misaligned messaging, audience fatigue, algorithmic suppression, or my personal favorite, people don't understand the importance of these characters. Yes, clearly the reason an 8-year-old won't buy an Ironheart toy is because he hasn't read the studio-approved press release about why she's culturally necessary. That's definitely what stops kids from buying toys: insufficient corporate statements. Representation means putting characters of all backgrounds into stories naturally, organically, and with purpose. Resonance means those characters matter to people. Hollywood has decided these concepts are interchangeable, and that confusion is why toy aisles are now littered with the corpses of characters they swore would be the future. Riva didn't resonate because the writing never connected her emotionally to the audience. She was introduced not as a character, but as a headline. Ironheart wasn't written as a brilliant, flawed successor to Tony Stark. She was written as a corporate successor to an existing brand. America Chavez wasn't given a clear arc, motivation, or personality. She existed to be passed from scene to scene like a plot coupon. And the Black Panther supporting characters Disney tried to turn into leads weren't expanded because those characters earned the spotlight. They were expanded because the studio refused to cast T'Challa and needed anyone, to fill the void. Characters are not meaningful because someone writes an article explaining why they should be meaningful. Characters matter because audiences feel something. They laugh, they cheer, they cry, they root for them. They talk about them. They reenact their scenes with toys. They buy products because they connect with the character, not because the studio lectured them into it. Hollywood has forgotten this basic truth of storytelling. Instead of creating characters people could naturally love, they create characters they want people to love and then throw tantrums when fans don't obey. This is how you get action figures of characters whose only memorable trait is the controversy surrounding them. It's how you get toys without iconic moments. It's how you get dolls that look like they're part of a brand new franchise called We Swear This Will Matter Someday. Kids aren't reaching for characters designed to win studio diversity awards. They reach for characters who make them feel something, and these new characters are emotionally inert. When fans didn't respond positively, Hollywood didn't question the writing, they questioned the audience's morality. Suddenly, every character they pushed was important, and anyone who didn't immediately fall in love with them was somehow deficient. Disney defended Riva by attacking the very people they expected to buy her toys. Marvel painted criticism of Ironheart as fear rather than boredom. And America Chavez's lukewarm reception was blamed on the audience being uncomfortable with change, as if she wasn't simply underwritten. This guilt-first strategy was supposed to be their unstoppable weapon. They assumed fans would support characters out of fear of being labeled as part of the problem, but fandom doesn't work like that. People don't collect toys out of obligation, they collect toys out of passion. You cannot emotionally blackmail collectors. You can't shame a child into wanting to reenact a scene that had no impact. You can't scold an audience into enthusiasm. For the last decade, studios have tried to create characters the audience must accept without putting in any of the work that made the legacy characters iconic. Representation became a shield stronger than Captain America's, a cudgel and a marketing plan all rolled into one. And when that failed, they resorted to the oldest trick in the Hollywood playbook. You're the problem, not the character. But Ollie's doesn't care about your victim narrative. Ross doesn't care about your victim narrative. I don't care about the victim narrative. Retail only cares that anyone bought the toy, and fans didn't. A studio can manipulate critical reviews. A studio can control social media messaging. A studio can weaponize influencers. But a studio cannot manipulate sales data in the real world. There is no spin threshold for a pallet of unsold toys. A character is either loved or not loved. There's no gray area in toy aisles. And if you look at the aisles now, they're filled with what's not loved. Reva never sold, even during peak Obi-Wan hype. Ironheart merch became clearance fodder almost instantly. Disney female Star Wars didn't sell because the writing never gave the audience a reason to care. That's a reason why I can go get Rey and Holdo and all these wonderful characters, because they're poorly written. The shock isn't that the toys didn't sell, it's that Hollywood ever thought they would. Kids imitate what they love, collectors display what they admire, fans support what resonates, and none of these characters ever resonated. They were sold to the audience like mandatory homework, and what does everyone do with mandatory homework? They put it off until it lands in the trash. Kids don't reenact lectures, they reenact moments, lightsaber duels, spaceship battles, epic fights between Spider-Man and Venom. If your character doesn't have an iconic moment, you don't have a toy, you have a clearance item. Fans want characters who feel real, characters who have agency, flaws, charm, personality, something that hooks you emotionally. When a kid grabs a Batman toy, he's not thinking about representation, he's thinking about rooftop fights in the Batmobile. When a kid reaches for Spider-Man, he's thinking about swinging through the city and beating up bad guys. Reva wasn't charming, Ironheart wasn't compelling, America Chavez wasn't interesting, and none of the female Star Wars characters from Disney were dynamic. They were placeholders. When your whole contribution to a franchise is being the press release talking point, you're never going to win the hearts of kids or adults. Fans don't resist diversity, they resist laziness. They resist being force-fed ideology. They resist being told they're not clapping hard enough. We want cool characters, and Hollywood keeps giving us lectures wrapped in capes. Audiences don't reject diversity, Hollywood rejects writing. Instead of reevaluating their strategy, Hollywood insists the failure lies with fans. They claim audiences are backwards, conservative, or resistant to change, despite mountains of evidence that diverse, well-written characters succeed consistently. But the blame game is easier than acknowledging the truth. Modern Hollywood has lost the ability to write compelling characters. They've outsourced everything to identity. It's easier for studios to shame an audience than to rewrite the script. It's easier to blame racism than admit a character didn't get a memorable moment. It's easier to criticize fans than acknowledge the disconnect between creative leadership and what people actually enjoy. This is the great irony. The industry that once prided itself on imagination now defaults to excuses when imagination fails them. At the end of the day, no amount of spin will ever change the fact that these toys are here because nobody wanted them. Not because they were diverse, not because audiences are evil, but because Hollywood tried to replace meaningful storytelling with ideology and expect applause. These toys are the receipts of a failed experiment, and until Hollywood discovers how to write characters audiences love, not characters they're told to love, this aisle will continue to grow. Because you can guilt a critic, you can bully a headline, you can shame a fan base, but you can't force anyone, kid or adult, to buy an action figure. And folks, that is where we are. If you look at all these videos we've made over the last 3 years, you have seen the receipts. That's what these videos are about. It's about what doesn't sell, what is not wanted, and it's always intended for you to look at the receipts versus what the press, what social media, or what these websites want to tell you is the truth. There's a reason why when I go to Ollie's or Ross or any of these other places, I don't see regular Spider-Man or a Batman figure or stuff like that. I see Catwoman, or I see the Eternals, or I'll see the Black Panther cast, or I'll see all the B-list Star Wars characters. I've been saying it for years, I've been showing it for years, and now we've reached the point of this story where it's so bad that these stores are clearancing these out for $1, Bob. Nobody wants them. Even for $1, they're still there. Coming up in another Ollie's video I have, they have already clearanced the other part of the toy aisle. All Hasbro, all crap, all day. So I want to ask you out there, what do you think of this situation? Are you like me and laugh at this? Because it feels like we're living in the Twilight Zone, like we're in a fantasy land, the upside down if you want to keep things topical. Everything, every decision Hollywood, and mainly Disney, because it's a lot of Disney merchandise that doesn't sell, every decision they make is antithetical to what business is supposed to be, a money-making endeavor. And now personally, I don't care if Hasbro makes $1 or $1 trillion. It doesn't define my life or make any difference to me. But Every time that they force one of these toys on collectors, it kills the retail market, because big box stores like Target and Walmart, they don't look at Disney's diversity push as, oh, we're going to correct the marketplace. They look at, well, if I order from Hasbro, this isn't going to sell, so I'm going to order less and less and less. And then the toy market shrinks. Walmart has shrunk their toy aisle down. The Star Wars section is non-existent. The Marvel toys are getting there too. No one's calling for less diversity in the toy aisle. What I'm calling for is make toys based on things people like. You gotta make a black X-Men character? Don't make Cyclops gay and black. Make a Bishop action figure. Make a who's a gay X-Man character? Morph. Make him. Morph and Bishop are cool characters. You don't need a bunch of other random derivatives. Same with Star Wars. Well, we're gonna have more black characters in Star Wars. Look, there's millions of black people that like Star Wars. I'm not white myself. I liked Lando, but I've never once watched a Star Wars movie and went, you know what would really make Return of the Jedi better is more black people in the Rebel Alliance. Who the fuck watches movies like that? If you watch movies like this, you should just shut up, take your head out of your ass, and go do something else. Then again, you're probably not watching videos like this because you're going to get triggered. Oh, they said something I don't like. Well, it's called the truth, and you got two things you can do. Absolutely nothing and like it. So folks, hopefully you enjoyed this. I wanted to just show you guys that what we have been saying here, not us on the channel, but all of us collectively as collectors, is the truth. We don't want garbage characters. We want good stuff at a good price. That's all we ask for as collectors. And there's a reason why you can sell Optimus Prime every day for 40 years, or Luke Skywalker or Han Solo. One of those is a robot and doesn't have a race or a color, so it doesn't really matter. Well, I guess Autobots is race, but we're all Autobots on the inside, right? Wrong. We're humans. But I digress. Folks, thank you for watching. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. I've been sick for the better part of a week, but that's okay. We are here to close out Stealing Solo 2. So by the time this video goes live, it'll probably be about 45 minutes left in the campaign. So if you've been sitting on your hands, take them out. Type Kickstarter.com, look up Stealing Solo, The Power of the Farce, or follow the link in the description below and get yourself a copy of the sequel to the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs. We've already reached our funding goal, so you're going to get your book. It's a completed project, so as soon as the campaign closes and I get my funds, I'm going to order the book, and it'll be here early next year, and I'll ship it right out to you guys, because we're world class, and that's how we operate. But until then, folks, thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool, be on the lookout for more content from WCBS, because this holiday season, during the quote-unquote Christmas break, I got some special surprises for you, and it comes courtesy of your favorite video series here on the channel. But until then, folks, thanks for watching.